What's up, guys? Torbo back again for another Marvel Legends review, and today we're wrapping up the base assortment, the six figures from the Marvel Knights, Netflix wave, whatever you want to call it. We have got comic Bullseye here, and I'm not going to do packaging. If you saw the other videos, I changed some stuff up throughout the packaging, then realized I wanted to redo these reviews a bit, so I don't have the packaging to do them. Standard Marvel Legends stuff, though, so you're not missing anything. We're going to do articulation, paint, sculpt, and this guy has a bunch of accessories to talk about, so we'll talk about those towards the end. Let's do the articulation first. So head is on a hinged ball. You've got full rotation. He can look all the way up, all the way down. We have got the Sunfire Spidey 2099 body, so he's got the butterfly joints, which work really well on a character that's supposed to be a little more dynamic, a little more agile. So you got full wide range of motion there. The arms can go up and out and all around. Not really any problems there. He's got double joints at the elbows. We have got a hinge, and this is a side-to-side hinge and a rocker rotation at the wrist, and he's got another side-to-side hinge here. We have got a crunch, and he can look over pretty far. The belt gets in the way a bit, and he can go a couple clicks back. Waist rotation, that is going to be hindered by the belt, though, because the belt is attached to the holster for the gun, which is then attached to the leg, so it only goes so far until you start ripping the peg out. The legs can go out about that far. The same kind of issue exists with the leg, though. It's only going to go up so far in so much as the holster is not going to start getting in the way. The leg can go forward kick about 90 degrees and back just a little bit. There is a thigh cut as usual. We have got double joints at the knee. We have got a boot cut, but it's due to this sculpt of this particular body, I don't really care for these. That looks funny when you do that, especially if you turn it a little too much. You can see the geometry of the figure just gets all janky. And then he's got a hinge and a rocker at the ankle. As far as the sculpt on this guy goes, I think they did a pretty good job. I like this body for the most part. The one part I really don't like I just mentioned, are the shins at that swivel. I think it just looks funny. And then I really don't care for these feet either, because they're so pointy and angled. They're very comic style, but I don't feel like this suits Bullseye to me. The rest of the figure is pretty standard in terms of what he comes with. Just a standard body, a slimmer body with more musculature showing. So I think he looks pretty good. The head sculpt on this guy is pretty sweet, though. I really like it. This is from the era where Bullseye has, I don't know the story. I don't really remember which one, but there's a point where he has a tooth that's been broken off and he spits it at someone. So you can see he's missing that tooth here. It's from the post-tooth spitting era of Bullseye's career, and I think they've got that down pretty well. He's got that kind of maniacal look about his face. We've got the sculpted teeth, and then everything just looks pretty straightforward, and I don't have any issues with wonky eyes or anything like that. We do have the belt on here, which is just kind of stark white, which goes into the holster for the gun, which is pegged on, and then it's attached to the leg. So you can holster his gun, and then on the back of the belt, he's got a sheath for a dagger. And then, of course, we've got this crazy hand here, and this is one piece. So I'm not going to really consider it an accessory. This is how he comes packaged, but this is the throwing effect that they gave him, where the hand bleeds into him throwing 3 daggers out, which I think is really cool. It gives you a lot of options for posing, and it just looks neat on its own. As far as paint goes, he's got a decent bit, and overall it's applied rather well. We do have some paint on the boots, obviously, so he's got those lines. Same on the wrists, and then we've got paint on the chest in that butterfly joint, and it's good enough. These kind of joints lend themselves to kind of things not lining up correctly, but that's just the nature of the joint, and they do what they can to make that work, and it works well enough. And then the face paint is pretty well done. I don't have any issues, like I said, with janky or wonky eyes or anything like that. And then there is there's some paint on the belt buckle down here on this on the strap on the what would you call that? Just a leg strap, I suppose. And then, of course, we do have the Bullseye on the forehead, which is pretty clean for the most part. There is a little kind of paint speck in there where it didn't apply fully, so you can kind of see the dark blue black color bleeding through there. Now, as far as accessories go, I did mention this particular hand. He does have 3 other hands, so we've got 2 that he comes in the package with, and 2 that he comes extra. So we have got the throwing dagger hand. We have got a right hand with a trigger finger, and then he has two additional left hands. So we have the just a closed hand, but also a gripping hand for the left hand. So you can use that with the dagger. And then we have got a pointing finger for the left hand, which is reminiscent of some Mike Diodato artwork where it's like, I think it's a cover art where he's pointing at the viewer, kind of like a gun. So we've got a bunch of options. I really wish that he had more right hands just because of the fact he has three left and he only has one right. But at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. We do have the gun. It's holstered here. Like I said, you can put it on the holster. It sits just fine. It's just like a Luger type gun, and it's solid silver cast plastic. And then we've got a dagger on the back, which fits into the sheath. It is not the same as the daggers he's throwing. Those are actual like throwing daggers. This is, a knife dagger. So he can put it back there, and then he mostly holds this in the left hand that is gripping because the right hand has an actual trigger finger. And then, of course, we have got the extra head for Bullseye here, which is just him unmasked with him screaming, looking crazy as always. And this is kind of reminiscent of the Daredevil movie, which is where the kind of Bullseye scar on the forehead kind of originated from and then bled into the comics. But I think it looks good. It's well executed, good sculpt, good paint apps on it. I'm probably never going to use it because I don't really care for that look, but I can't fault them for including a well executed head like that in the package. I'm just going to stick with the regular one for the time being. So overall, I mean, this is a pretty decent figure. I think that they picked a good body to use for Bullseye, despite the fact that I have my problems with it just because of some of the angles and the sculpt on some of those joints. But I love butterfly joints. It's very good for an agile character. And then he comes with a ton of accessories. There are a couple other figures in this wave that could have used accessories that didn't get them. Jessica Jones probably could have used a scarf or maybe a bottle of whiskey or something, just as an example. But Bullseye does have a lot of stuff, so I like the fact that they gave him what they did give him. They probably could have given him like a throwing card or something instead of a gun, but I'm not going to complain too much because I'm probably never going to use that anyway. It's always going to be that throwing dagger effect for me. So that is going to do it for this look at the comic-styled Bullseye figure from Hasbro's Marvel Legends. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.